Welcome to the AI for Sales podcast, hosted by best-selling author, keynote speaker, and sales innovator, Chad Burmeister. This is where the future of selling comes alive, exploring how AI transforms customer experiences, drives sales outcomes, and reshapes the way we connect, compete, and close business. You'll hear from sales, marketing, and technology leaders on the front lines of AI for sales, sharing strategies, successes, and the skills you'll need to thrive in an AI-powered world. As Dr. Joel LeBon, marketing and sales professor at the Johns Hopkins University Carey School of Business, said best in Chad's book, AI for Sales, How Artificial Intelligence is Changing Sales. In sales, time kills deals. In AI for Sales, AI kills time. Thanks to our sponsors, BDR.ai, Nooks.ai, and ZoomInfo, the go-to market intelligence platform that accelerates revenue growth. Want an introduction to one of our sponsors? Go now to www.sdr.ai/intro, and Chad will personally connect you with the right person at any of these companies, the one who can make a difference for your business. And remember, in traditional sales, time kills deals. But in AI for Sales, AI kills time. Get ready to learn, level up, and lead the AI revolution in sales. This is the AI for Sales podcast. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another AI for Sales podcast. I am Chad Burmeister, your host, and today I am with a special guest all the way from Virginia. We are with Ghazenfer Mansoor, who is the CEO of Technology Rivers, a software development firm specializing in AI-powered solutions, SaaS product development, and healthcare technology. That's two back-to-back healthcare technology companies that we've talked to, by the way. He helps startups and service-based businesses streamline operations, automate processes, and scale through smart, efficient software. Ghazenfer is also the author of Beyond the Download, how to build mobile apps that people love, use, and share every day. He shares insights on innovation, growth strategy, and building technology that drives real impact. Ghazenfer, how's the audio working for you?
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
We had a little bit of an audio glitch at the start, as we sometimes do when you go from Virginia to Colorado. And for our listeners, we wanted to make sure the audio sounds good. So here we are. Audio's sounding great. Thanks for being here today, Ghazenfer. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So, amazing. You wrote a book. I'm 4 deep now. My former CEO at Connect and Sell used to always talk about the importance of human in the loop in technology and how to keep the software simple. So many of these founders make so many button clicks and make it so difficult, and they forget about the importance of the user interface, and they make so many buttons. Beyond the Download sounds like an important book, an important read. Maybe start there. Tell us a little bit. I'm going off script here. What is the single biggest takeaway if you gave me the ChatGPT, 30-second overview of your book? What would ChatGPT say about your book?
Well, as the title says, Beyond the Download, how to build app that people use, love, and share every day. How many apps do you have on your phone? Just like me, I can't even count. And how many of them you are using. So it's not just downloading the app. It's about using the app on a daily basis. So bringing the adaption, making users sticky so that they keep coming back. The more users are coming back, your app is being used, you're getting featured, your users are getting benefited for it. So that means you want to build something people use, and then use some strategies that will help you build the app where you can bring users back again and again. So the book talks about all the strategies, all the things I learned in the last 20 plus years. Even I got into mobile even before iPhone and Android, when it was just web-based WML devices, like controlling home devices through Palm devices. So it's a long journey, and this book talks about all the different experiences I have. Like it's talked about 30 plus different strategies.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you the biggest surprise that the podcast guest that I had last week from Houston, he's a founder of an AI company and he works with healthcare. And the biggest surprise he had, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this, or if it's one of the 30 in your book, perhaps, but a lot of the healthcare companies that he served were optimizing on their chatbots around profit motive, right? Let's optimize for the most money, like if it's recommending a drug or something, or go see this person, because they would optimize for money. And what he found was you need to optimize for the person on the other side of the chat. And it doesn't always need to optimize for the profit motive. And I go back to Fred Smith, the CEO of FedEx, and I was in his class. Maybe there was 50 or 100 people that were new hires, and it was people, service, profit was third. If you optimize for the people first, the profit will follow. And I thought that was ingenious at the time, 30 years ago in my career as a young 20-something. And you know, are you seeing the world come back around to say, hey, let's prioritize the customer experience first? You know, or is the capitalistic greed of our society still at the tip of the spear around AI? What do you have to say about the customer experience and what companies are optimizing around?
Yeah, I think I learned long time ago. I mean, just like as you're referring, where we talk about the technology is to service human. Many times you see people are building tech to force humans to use the technology, but in reality, the technology only works when it is for servicing people. So at the end, how many times are we gonna buy? Like you're gonna buy something from the bot? I would never. There's a human touch is always needed. Without that, we're all human. We're gonna buy from humans. We're gonna deal with humans. Yes, the tools and technologies that's gonna help you get somewhere. It will help you. It should support you, but the end goal is still the same. The technology is there to service. So I think that's even more important than ever, because now technology is so easier. With AI, you can do so many things, and you may have seen that people are using it left and right without any care for it. So that means the contents being generated you could clearly see those are generated by ChatGPT or other AI tools. So it's not about creating the contents. It's about uh, uh, providing the experience, bringing more efficiency into your processes. So I believe that that part has always been there. It never went away. It's probably we were forgetting about it.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe is there a case study or something that's unique, because there's so many companies that are doing AI and touting how they deploy it. And I think companies are starting now to say, okay, share with me maybe how did you grow revenue? How did you decrease cost? You know, if you can sink your teeth into a value enhancement, how did you get value out of an AI deployment? Anything meaty you're able to share, or a value proposition that you can talk to?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in a software development business, and in the software, the bigger cost is building these software. That's very expensive. You know, it's been usually the software builds are pretty long term, pretty big. Now we can create POCs with a very quick effort, with a very small effort. So anything that was being done in a year, now you could do it in 2, 3 months, because now with AI you can do a whole lot of things much faster. There are tools like Claude Code, the Replit, the Lovable. Uh, they help you get up to speed super quick. We're on like this is a sales podcast, so I want to share one, for example, 1 or 2 cases. Like for example, we got a lead on Friday, and on a weekend, I shared it with my team. Monday morning at 12 o'clock, when I had a call before that, my team gave me a whole POC based on the use case that was provided by the customer. The form failed. So we created the whole application showing them before getting on a call, hey, this is what we think you want based on what you shared us, right, with us. So that was not possible before. Now you can get things done. And it's helping anybody, not really just the technical. I mean, yes, in order to take it to live, in order to build the final version, the production, like you do need the human part. You do need more engineers to do that final plugging in or optimizing. But for initial stuff, you could use AI. So AI has been helping us a lot in our development processes, bringing efficiencies, things that were being done in months. Now, yeah, you can do it in much shorter time, and it's saving time. Like, I mean, I can go on and on, like writing test cases. Like you used to have a developer, like usually when you bring on a project, so usually you bring on the QA engineer early in the, like, so what do? They understand the requirement, they write the test cases. Now you can use AI to achieve a lot of that in 1/10 of the time. So same people, but now you are doing a lot more efficiently that the same work.
Yeah, 10x. I mean, that's a very big statement. 10x. That is not a small feat. I'm seeing the same thing. I just have to believe, strap in for the ride. We're going to the moon and back. That means the economy's going to win. Everyone's going to win. I talked to a friend who's doing really well in kind of new healthcare, I would say, right? He's doing I don't even know the language to use, weight loss, anti-aging and all these kinds of things. And within the confines of legal, right? In healthcare, it's a pretty regulated industry, but he's doing the kind of new way, right? Telemedicine and all of that. And they're growing 520%. He said they grew month over month. And he's been doing this for 3 years. So they're up and to the right, skyrocket. And his perspective when I talked to him last night was, hey, just leave everything the same right now. I don't want interest rates to drop. I don't want anything to change because his world's just going so well right now. But I think things are about to multiply out there in this economy. So what do you think about the misconceptions around AI? What are you seeing people think that maybe they have it wrong when it comes to artificial intelligence?
Oh, there are many. I don't think many people understood AI, and they're using it obviously very basic. But I think one big misconception that you hear around is that AI is going to replace human. It may replace some part of it, but it's going to be more augmenting human. But for a lot of the stuff, like for repetitive stuff, for admin work, but it's not gonna be replacing it. It's gonna help you do things more efficiently. More businesses are not gonna just reduce people and say, "Oh, now we don't need," but they will look for more efficiency, how we can achieve more, because everybody wants to grow. So I think that's one of the big. The second bigger one I've seen is that AI is a one-click solution. So we got many requests. Oh, we want AI to be in our application. Yes, up to some you can have a generative AI, but it's not going to be a one-click solution. It's you need a lot of stuff in order to build the AI. Like you need a data, you need to clean up your data, you need to map your workflows. You have to do a lot of that work if you want to enable. So ChatGPT is not just AI. That's just doing based on the data it has. If you want to embed AI into your processes, you need to have your data. So that means you need to do all of those efforts to bring in the data and massaging that data and work off of that. And that's not an easy task. And that's where the AI, where we see like there's a lot of work going on in that space. So yeah, so AI is not a one-click solution. AI is not going to replace humans, and AI is not going to sell for you. AI is going to support you. You still have to do the selling at the end. No matter how, like, imagine like you're even on with any company, when you logged in, you're with the chat part, you're going to get some information, but for any final thing, unless you have a clear human, you're always going to be reluctant. So the human part is important. Maybe just doing the final tweaking, final negotiation. You don't want the AI to just sell it for you, then you can't deliver.
Every quarter, your pipeline goals go up. But when SDR teams are bogged down by prospecting, dialing, and coaching busy work, they struggle to hit their goals. That's where Nooks comes in. Nooks helps you double and even triple the pipeline you generate. Nooks is the AI sales assistant platform that automates account research, list building, and getting more great prospect conversations, so you can focus on the human side of selling. Companies like Seismic, Modern Health, and Greenhouse use Nooks to radically increase outbound pipeline. See how you can build more pipeline today by visiting nooks.ai.
Yeah, I love the one-click part that you mentioned, because the co-host of the show, I just invited a colleague of mine to co-host with me, because I'm starting to record a lot more than I used to. I record, 5 of these a week, and so I'm starting to kind of do a lot more than I used to. We used to put out 2 a month. Now I'm putting out 1 a week, and so I asked Brian to co-host with me, and he has spent 180 hours on building a custom GPT. And, what we're learning is he can't just do it all on his own. We've got a whole IT team at Informatica that can help us with the governance and the persistency of the data to make sure that there's this, that it persists. Otherwise, the GPT forgets what it just said 10 seconds ago. So if we just let it on its own, maybe in a few years, or who knows, at the pace of change, it could be a few months. But as of today, I think you still need a project team around the real enterprise type of deployments on this kind of technology for it to be useful, especially in BFSI, financial services, healthcare. If you're going to do things around financial institutions and healthcare with regulatory requirements, you better have a pretty sophisticated project team like that of yourself and your company. Otherwise, you're going to put the wrong data in the wrong hands of the wrong people, and do nefarious things. So very cool technology,
Absolutely.
but you got to be thoughtful of it. What about, we kind of talked about maintaining the personal touch with the AI and the augmentation versus full automation. How do you do that? Any sorts of inclinations of how you're seeing, do you get to a point where we're all cyborgs and we're wearing a helmet with, are we putting a chip in our brains, or how do you integrate, man and machine, so to speak? Is there, what are you starting to see? How does that come together appropriately?
Well, I mean, I think there has to be a balance. There will always be. So I think AI can handle what and when, but you still need a human to handle why and how, because that uh, otherwise, as we were talking earlier, like you can't just trust AI to do everything for you. Yes, you would trust, as you also mentioned earlier, like, so once you have all the data, with time you're training AI as well. I always say I treat AI just like I am working with my assistant, giving those specific instructions, and then it keep learning. But the day the assistant is doing everything more than me, then yes, then I can pick up another one and go to another height and share more of that. But yeah, that context come from human. Without that, the AI is not going to give you the right answers.
Yeah, that's right. I had another guest on a few weeks ago from Austin. I'm glad I just brought that up, because I'm supposed to meet him this week while I go there. That said, our goal should be to automate ourselves, right? And start from the bottom up and just start figuring out which tasks we can automate. And then over time, we can focus on higher value work. And I remember talking to Lori Richardson. She's a really, really smart person that talks about women in sales, and she's very pro women in sales, and I love it. Right? She's very much spearheaded that as a thing over the last decade or more in Boston. She's a really good friend of mine, and I think she so poignantly said that several years ago, and said, what she's really excited about is moving up and letting AI do the monotonous stuff, as you just said a little bit ago, and so we can focus on the more interesting work and let the AI do the boring stuff, like go out and research and do the things that you just said, do some of the pre-work. And then I just get to read it. And then I'm more equipped to have the conversation with the customer. So it's really neat. Since you're deploying technology and you're reading and talking to customers, are you seeing any neat emerging technologies come out? Obviously, there's Grok and Gemini, and there's the basic tools. What are the non-basic tools? Anything else that you're seeing that maybe hasn't been exposed to the rest of us?
Yeah, so the two that are exciting to me are agentic AI, which again may not be as much for many people. And the second is the MCP, Model Context Protocol. That's from Anthropic, the company who had Claude. So that's very powerful. You know how as you are writing any software, you have APIs to expose and access, let others access your data. We had Zapier afterward and Make. Now, in the AI context, that's MCP. In MCP, you can expose your APIs to allow others to access your data. So that means I can type in my Claude and I can search anything. So for example, and there are so many MCP servers available. You can make anything like, so there's a standard protocol, and we created many of those for ourselves, as well as we have been using others. So I'll give you a few examples. So for example, I connected with our QuickBooks, and now I can just chat in Claude asking any specific thing. For example, how many subscriptions do we have? How much did we pay for this X thing? Right. Without going into QuickBooks, I can get all the answers in Claude. I can connect with any software as long as it supports MCP. So for example, we connect with Jira. So we can create stories right off the requirement document, or we have a mockup. It says push into the Jira, or pull the user stories off of it, or I worked on something, log these hours. Without going to Jira, without going to the web interface, now you can query, do stuff right in your Claude desktop. Obviously, you can build application, another web application on top of it. So that means any other application, you don't have to build a custom APIs to access their data. Now all of that is possible through that MCP. You can, it's mind blowing how that tool is giving you access to everything that you have. So that's one of the exciting technologies. And I can talk more on how we have used, for example, on proposals or in many others, how we use that, even MCP. And then agentic AI, as I was talking. So obviously a lot of agents will do some work, like the AI, you can do research, but the world is coming where it would not only do the research, it would also do the work on your behalf. So most of the AI agents where you are just doing certain thing. In this one, in the agentic world, it's also going to be making decision on those. Like in normal AI agents, they are not making decisions on your behalf. So whether it's buying a ticket or purchasing a subscription or any of those. So that's something, it's going to be more and more. And that's where the world is moving, because companies do want to build a lot of those agents, but then also there are certain where they also not really just want to use for some automation, but also creating agentic AIs to make certain decisions. It could be like for example, scheduling a call even with your prospect based on the stuff it finds. Like, okay, AI could go in, look for, let's say, some conversations off of the podcast or app store, and send messages, schedule meeting, all of those. So now things are, I mean, so you can do a lot more stuff with AI nowadays.
Yeah, amazing. Well, even just thinking about my scheduling of the podcast guests, I have an agentic AI that finds guests and then has conversations on my behalf with guests to schedule the podcast now. And it's in a different color box on my LinkedIn outreach so that I can tell when it wasn't me having the conversation. So when it's me, it's in orange. When it's my agent, it's in purple, I think. And so I go, oh, look, that's what my agent did on my behalf. So it's pretty interesting.
Cool. Oh, that's
There-
interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Talk to me a little bit about ethics in AI because, as we go into this new world, someone's responsible for ethics, and some people say, well, the government should play a little bit of an oversight role, and ultimately humans are responsible for the ethics as well. What are your thoughts on the ethical considerations? Who's responsible, and how do we make sure that the AI doesn't run away with the show?
Well, obviously, everybody is responsible, but we know how the world is. People are not going to be. So you always need some governing body on top defining those rules, because when people have a need, they would cross some of those limits. So definitely that's where the laws will make a difference for sure. So, I mean, in AI, obviously there are many of those ethical consideration. It could be the biasness. It could be even communicating. Like in our world, we have to communicate certain things, like in terms of like where you generated certain stuff from the AI, and then especially in the healthcare, where that data goes, like it's a patient data, anonymizing that data. So a lot of those considerations are, and I think until we have that governing body, um, uh, especially when you have a sensitive data, financial or healthcare, is going to be challenging.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It probably needs to be global at some point too. I would think we all uh, we all need to get together, global leaders, and come up with some kind of an agreement at some point, probably.
Totally agree.
Last
You need a
question before I
United
let you
Nations.
go. The United Nations of AI, right?
Yeah.
Skill sets that people should start paying attention to. My wife was asking me the other day, "Hey, can you help our daughter look at her lease because the landlord was trying to take too much cleaning fee? Can you go ahead and use ChatGPT and write a letter?" And I was like, "Okay, hang on. This stuff AI's been out for a couple years. Let me just give you a few pointers and you can go ahead and, you should go ahead and do it yourself." And I gave her a few pointers on doing it. And I was surprised at her job that she wasn't using it as much as I do, because I use it daily. Um, what skills do you think anyone who has a computer and a mobile phone, should be thinking about when it comes to ChatGPT and AI in general?
I think the most important skill that I talk about is the articulation. You should be able to articulate the problem. You should be able to story tell, because if you can articulate, those people who can articulate well, provide good context, they are able to get the work done from AI much better than anybody else. I talked a few minutes ago using AI ChatGPT as assistant, because let's say if you just tell your assistant to create a PowerPoint, it's going to create. But is it something you like? It has to build as you want. So you have to start giving a very specific instructions of how you want it, so that because at the end it's your stamp. So any So it's executive stamp. So if it's your stamp, then you want to make sure that it's created accordingly. So that, to me, that product management, articulation, storytelling, these are the things that's going to make a difference. Like in our world, the people, the solution people, the product people who are usually doing this kind of work are going to be more demanding than people who just get things done based on instructions, because now you can give that same instruction to AI. So yeah, that's definitely. And then how you use, as you are giving example, like you have to know how do you use AI, because the example that you gave about the leads, like you can even ask ChatGPT or Claude to you give your context that, hey, I am this person, and it would give you a list of questions, and it will tell you the pointers. Hey, I find this field. You're a student and you're getting into the lease. The lease talk about this clause. You want to have a move out clause, like a job relocation clause, something like that. We never thought, like by default, we won't pay attention. So AI could help you on those, but so you can use that for many different ways. Yeah. And then I think lastly, analytical skills, like interpreting AI insights. So it will throw you so much data. How do you really interpret that data? So if you can start, obviously even you can use AI to get that interpretation as well, help, but skill, I think that skill is important to have.
Yeah, that's good. On the lease agreement, what I recommended was, hey, first upload the lease and say, and it's 10 pages with a lot of fine print, and say, read this lease, then interpret it under the laws of Colorado, and then legally, are they really allowed to hold the $1,000 down payment for 60 days, and then legally just ask some questions like, how much can they hold back? What can we, and just start asking questions of it. Just like you said about, asking the data questions. Once you've uploaded, now you can ask questions. Once you've asked those questions, then if you were a top legal advisor, write a letter as if you were a top legal advisor in Colorado, or write it as if you were the administrator to the CEO of a large company and you were very busy. You can right. Act as if you were someone else, and you've just hired someone, and now once I gave that set of tools to my wife, it was like, okay, now I understand. Okay, I don't need you anymore. I got this. So
right. So in this time, so in this time, it's about knowing how to use those tools right. I think that's more important.
Yeah, that's good.
Than knowing everything.
I've really enjoyed this conversation. I know you work in the healthcare world, and I believe we talked a lot about a lot of things. So really appreciate your time. If someone wants to get a hold of you and look to hire, what are the types of firms that you serve? Is there a certain company size, certain region? Tell us a little bit about the types of firms you serve.
Yeah, so we work with health tech companies. Majority of our customers are health tech, or I would say physician entrepreneurs. A lot of physicians have ideas, and those were the ones that we started working with. And secondly, healthcare service businesses like home care, autism care, assisted living. So those are the two types of companies that we primarily work with.
Excellent. Well, if you're listening to the show and you need some help in the world of artificial intelligence and healthcare tech, check out Technology Rivers. We'll put the link to how to reach Ghazenfer and his team. He's the CEO of an amazing company in Virginia. So look him up, reach out. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Chad. It was a really good conversation. Thanks a lot.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining another AI for Sales podcast.
Thanks for listening to the AI for Sales podcast with host Chad Burmeister. This episode was brought to you by BDR.ai, Nooks.ai, and ZoomInfo, the go-to-market intelligence platform. BDR.ai helps sales teams accelerate outreach and book more meetings automatically, using AI to personalize messaging across LinkedIn, email, and beyond. Nooks.ai is the AI-powered sales assistant platform that automates account research, list building, and connects reps to more high-quality conversations, helping teams double or even triple their outbound pipeline. And ZoomInfo gives your revenue teams the data and insights they need to find, engage, and win their best customers, helping you move faster, work smarter, and grow revenue at scale. If your company is serious about driving better outcomes with AI for sales, here's the fast track. Forget the endless website clicks and forms. Go straight to the decision makers at these companies, the ones who can move the needle for your business. Chad will personally connect you with the right leaders at our sponsors, the people who can actually make a difference in your business. Head to www.sdr.ai/intro and unlock your direct line to a more closable pipeline, powered by AI. Until next time, keep leading the AI for sales revolution, and remember, in sales, time kills deals. But in AI for sales, AI kills time.